everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the Training Talk series by Chartered Accountants Ireland. My name is Sinead from the team, and I get to spotlight different training courses. And today we are going to talk about the Chartered Tax Consultant Programme. And I'm delighted because we have the course director with us, Morna Ahern. Morna, you are so very welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. First things first, how are you today?
Great. Thanks a million, Sinead, for having me today to speak about the CTC programme. I'm looking forward to giving everyone a little insight into what we have to offer as part of our CPD opportunities.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for making the time to come along. It's really good, I think, to do these short videos, a bit of an express chat, give folk an insight, as you say. But look, before we get into the programme, what about hearing a bit more about you? Give us an introduction there for us, Morna.
Well, as you alluded to, I am the course director for the CTC programme. So that's the first element to the first bow to my string. But I established my own practice in 2017 called Brass Tax Consultancy. So I'm the principal of Brass Tax Consultancy. And I also am assistant lecturer in taxation within the Business and Humanities Department of the Technological University of the Shannon in the Midwest campus. So it's all things tax at this site. I have a passion for tax since my training days in Farrell Sparks. It's been a wonderful opportunity to grow in tax for over the last decade. I absolutely love tax, and I hope that I suppose that I can grow and bring tax to everyone and let them enjoy it and understand it.
Oh, brilliant. And your passion is exuding out of you there, all things tax indeed, and a busy, busy lady. So I really, as I say, do appreciate you taking the time to showcase the programme. So look, on that note, Morna, what about we step through the programme, give folk a proper insight? So first things first, what is involved? I mean, in terms of the content, what is covered in the CTC programme?
Well, onto the CTC programme, it's quite a broad and yet deep insight to a number of key areas in tax. So you're looking at all, I suppose, the general tax heads. So you've got corporation tax, income tax, indirect taxes, succession planning. So you've got the capital acquisitions, the capital gains, looking at the reliefs and maximising, I suppose, wealth management, cash extractions. So you're looking at all the different elements regarding, I suppose, the taxable amounts. And then I suppose adding to that as well, you've got the tax accounting side. So the deferred tax, I think the dreaded word of deferred tax. You learn lots about it and gain a key insight into deferred tax, which is very important from a corporate point of view as well. So that element is covered, so tax accounting. So there's a number of key modules with, I suppose, the layout and the structure of the syllabus is that it's kind of steps. So you're building on it. So you're building the knowledge, as in tax is the same way. So you start from income tax and you build upwards, encouraging, I suppose, and broadening your knowledge across all tax heads. So it's the same idea. So you're building on the core blocks, looking at the reliefs and maximization of those reliefs. And I suppose the legislative effects of those reliefs on the individual or the corporate, and then you're doing that right across a number of areas. And then you have, I suppose, the syllabus and the assessment module and the content has a number of series of questions and case studies. So it allows you to see it in a practical view. And I think that's key because you get to see it from a practical, yes, we do the academic side of things, but it's got this practical element that's built in at every point. And I think it's very suitable for and adaptable for everyone in tax. And that's why I suppose the program for me gives a broad range and shows me how to do it. So it's illustrative examples, but and practical demonstrations, which is important.
So key just to bring it to life for people that
Yeah, and I think that's always the scary bit, isn't it? It's like, oh well, let's see, like, and you're like, no, it's real. So real life, yeah, it's not a simulation here. Like, this is real life scenarios. This is something that we see on a regular basis. So it's very important that we know how to react. We know how to tax them. We know how they interact with other tax heads, how they interact with other business decisions and business combinations. So it's very important that we see that and it's illustrated and it comes to life. And that is what the CTC program does. It brings it to life. It brings you and immerses you into that. And it's second to none. And, it is fundamental as a tax advisor to be able to say, okay, well, it specializes, I'm specializing in this area, and as a result of my, you know, qualification and gaining this qualification, I have seen this, I can do this. You know, and there's a rare gem, and you know, and we see the rare gems every now and then, and you know, they're exciting transactions, but this shows you the excitement right across all types of transactions and really shows you how they operate.
Amazing, fantastic. Sign me up.
No problem, Sinead. You're welcome.
Oh, no, I think I'm not sure I'm destined to be a tax advisor, but anybody tuning in, no doubt, with a tax interest, I'm sure are going to be sold. But look, some of the practical questions folk tend to have around our programs, it's important to cover, you know, how is it delivered? Tell us a bit about that.
Okay, well, at present it's delivered online. So the online modules, so the content is split up into certain modules. So there's modules 1 to 8, and those modules are delivered with online content. So you use the Blackboard platform. So on the platform, you have the, I suppose, the general, the PDF, the module, and the question banks, and on the case studies, etc. So you've access to that material all the time. You've access to the tax find all the time. So it's good to know that you have, I suppose, the access to the supporting elements for tax, for looking up the tax cases and commentary and notes and things like that. So you have access to that, and then it's delivered online. So then you'll have an intermittent selection of virtual classes where you attend, and then you know you have the interaction, the talking for the case study preparations, for assessment preparations. So it's quite important that, you know, there's pre-recorded sessions that you engage in, and then there's the live sessions that you engage in as well. And you know, the content then for the preparation for the case studies as well, there's case study evenings and showcases as well. So, you know, it sounds quite demanding in one sense, but it's balanced. So it's a balance between, like, you know, you can fit it in between your work, and it's the recorded sessions are there. Any live session is also recorded for you, so you know, you've got that support network as well. And the support network of everyone that's participating in the course. I suppose that level of collegiality is there as well. So, you know, it's quite, I suppose, accessible for people.
Absolutely, and it's great. I suppose the online element does mean that people can, you know, tune in from all their regions, which was fab, makes it very accessible for them. And another question I often get asked, Morna, is around assessment. So what's involved in this program assessment wise? Is there one?
There's always assessment. I suppose, you know, like any qualification, I suppose, and you know, the professional qualifications, we do have to assess whether or not the capabilities are there and the competencies are there. So, you know, we do have a case study, as I alluded to, we do have a case study assessment. So there is case study assessments which are worth a percentage of the grade across the modules, and then you also have the final assessments. Again, everything's done online, so it's done through an assessment platform. So there's no physical on-site at the moment. So, you know, you're looking at the assessment is, again, you know, you can do it anywhere, obviously within the regulations, but you know, you can. It's that's the idea, I suppose. It's so that we can all be we can all participate no matter where we are, and giving that, you know, it breaks down that physical barrier that sometimes exists when you are looking at a course. So, you know, that isn't there, and that's wonderful, I think. So it allows everyone, as I said, to do the assessments. Is the case study days, there's case study sessions where they break down the case studies, which are recorded, to, I suppose, to give guidance on structure, format, professional, you know, context and ethics and stuff like that as well. So it's quite important. You know, professional ethics, as we know, is key to every element. So no matter what course you are willing to, you know, to engage in, professional ethics is the undertone to all of it. So I think, you know, being that professional advisor and elevating your advice, you know, those sessions are there, and that assistance is also there. So it's not just an academic, as I said, exercise. It is to show you practically and academically how we deliver and how we meet the needs of the client and the industry. And that's the assessments are designed on that. So we've got the case study, as I said, which is the real life simulation, elevated obviously to you know, to a more I suppose complex, to demonstrate complexity. And then you have the I suppose the end of term assessments, which are all done online. So again, it gives you that opportunity to do it anywhere.
Brilliant, happy days. And you know, I suppose if someone is tuning in, who is the ideal, I suppose, student on this program? Who's it for?
Well, for me, I suppose the love of tax, is there obviously. So, I'm sure, you want to be doing a tax qualification if you've got a keen interest in tax. So, but the beautiful thing about this, as I said, and I've said this throughout the discussion, is that it's a practical academic course. If I suppose if that's even to say, they're not polar opposites, they intertwine. So I suppose it's collaborative to the idea that we are in the moment, we're looking at it, we're working on it, and we're actively learning at the same time. So it's to do with, I suppose, maybe the person that has an interest in tax, that's working in a tax department, that may wish to participate in the course to elevate their tax knowledge. And then you have maybe the candidate, the FAE student candidate that would like to, come aboard and, jump across. I suppose there is additional, opportunities for the students to continue their studies, and this is definitely one of them. With with the strong FAE tax module completed, that gives them the springboard into this again to extend their knowledge in the area should they have interest in it. For me, I suppose, from my perspective, it was, I had started teaching, and for me, I had a number of tax opportunities, and I, as a small sole trader, found that it was important to start my own business. That's what, for me, it was something that it was an opportunity for. To gain a qualification and start my own business in tax. I'd always worked in tax and, a chartered accountant, and absolutely adore tax. Like there's no point in saying I don't.
I believe you, Morna. I believe you.
And, you don't have to love it as much as I do to do it. But I think, it's important that, I suppose, you gain a more passion for tax as you're doing it. You're gaining the knowledge. And for me, it was gaining the practical knowledge. We all sit and read books, and, you can read till the cows come home, but really, unless you're doing it, I don't think you really know how. So I think it's very important that for me it meets that need. So if you're a practical, hands-on kind of person that likes to get into the nitty-gritties, well, this is for you. Like, it's definitely for you. And it's a self-paced, self-directed learning element with structured, content and a structured calendar that fits in. So, we're all cognizant of month ends, we're cognizant of quarter ends, we're cognizant of industry and practice deadlines and things like that. So, there is the calendar is designed to meet those needs as well. So I think it's one for anyone that really has an enjoyment for tax, I think, and would like to pursue a tax qualification.
Brilliant. And I suppose the last question I have for you, Morna, is just around, obviously you've completed the course yourself, but what might you say to someone considering it then if we wrap up?
Go for it. There's nothing to lose, absolutely nothing to lose, and everything to gain and nothing to lose. I suppose first and foremost, like, collegiality was very important to me. Like, I am a people person, and I love meeting new people. And there's still participants that I met back when I did the CTC, and we're still great buddies. And we still have the laugh. And I think it's very important because sometimes when you're working in a specific area, it can be a small team. It can be, a small company. It's nice to say, oh, to have someone to have ideas, to professional level qualifications, chatting, it's just that insight. I haven't looked back, again, as I said, it allowed me to set up my own business. So if you were thinking of something like that, and you'd a love of tax, and you wanted to, I suppose, go for it, and you wanted a tax qualification, and bear in mind, this qualification thing can be gained between 12 to 18 months. So you can start in October and qualify in June. Like, you think of the timelines. This can work for you. And I think that's the beauty of it. It can fit in. It fits in around you. And I found that, again, I was, commuting. So it was very different for me, the time, the week was extremely busy. So it was like, oh God, what am I doing taking this on? And, not at all. It was so manageable. It was easy, accessible. Everyone was so helpful. Everyone was there to support you on your journey. And I think that's one thing I did love. You've nothing to lose. Go for it. As I said, it's another string to your bow that will enhance your offering, but also on a professional level, but on a personal level as well. You'll see an awful lot of growth because the confidence that it gives you. Sometimes we have these skills and we're like, oh God, but then we start putting them to use and you're like, okay, I can actually, I really feel that my abilities there, it enhances what you have an offering as a professional as well. And I think to see that and to be able to demonstrate that and know how, it's not an academic exercise. This is academic with a serious practical side of things. And I think that's very important. And for me, that worked for me. So, why not?
Amazing. Well, you heard it here, guys, live from the horse's mouth, someone who's been through it and then obviously involved in the program now. Morna, thank you so much for taking us through that. I think it really helps bring the program to life rather than maybe just someone reading the brochure. Having these videos makes such a difference. So thank you so much for coming along and sharing all your expertise. Folks tuning in, there will be more additional details in the caption, so check that out, details of the course and indeed next intake. So Morna, thanks again, and folk tuning in. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Thanks, Morna.
Thanks.